All right, if you're in the IT world, you've definitely heard the term ITIL thrown around. But what does it actually mean? Well, today, we're going to slice right through all the jargon. We'll break down what it is, why it's pretty much the secret sauce for any high performing IT team, and maybe most importantly, how it can totally supercharge your career. And I mean, anyone, seriously. It doesn't matter if you're on the service desk resetting passwords all day, or you're an architect designing the next big cloud platform. ITIL is your playbook. It's that common language, that set of rules that takes what could be a really chaotic IT department and turns it into a smooth, well-oiled machine. So, here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to define what ITIL even is. Then we'll walk through its core idea, the service lifecycle. After that, we'll dive into the essential day-to-day practices. And we'll wrap it all up with a real-world example and talk about how you can use all this to level up in your own career. All right, so let's jump right in with the big question. When you hear people talking about ITIL, what are they really talking about? Okay, so ITIL stands for Information Technology Infrastructure Library. But honestly, the key thing to get, and this is super important, is that it's not a piece of software you can just go out and buy. It's not a tool. Think of it more like a cookbook, a recipe book filled with proven best practices for delivering IT services in the most efficient and effective way possible. It's a framework. So why should you even care about this? Well, here's the bottom line. When a business adopts ITIL, they see real, tangible results. We're talking better service quality, way fewer of those chaotic system meltdowns, and of course, happier customers. But the real magic, the game changer, is how it aligns the IT department with the actual goals of the business. It helps turn IT from being seen as just a cost center into a genuine strategic partner. Okay, so how does ITIL actually organize all of these great ideas? Well, the classic model, ITIL v3, is built around this really powerful concept called the five-stage service lifecycle. Just think of it like a complete roadmap for the entire life of any IT service, from the moment it's just an idea all the way through to when it's eventually retired. And it all kicks off with service strategy. This is the why phase. Seriously, before a single line of code is written or a server is spun up, we have to ask the most important question: what does the business actually need to win? This whole stage is about nailing down those goals and making sure IT is perfectly aligned to help hit them. So, once we've got our why, it's time to figure out the how. And that brings us to service design. This is where we put on our architect hats and create the detailed blueprint for the IT service that's going to deliver on that strategy. It's exactly like drawing up the plans for a house before you start building. Okay, with a solid design in hand, we move into service transition. You can think of this as the build and deploy phase. It's all about managing that crucial rollout, getting our new service into the live environment as safely and smoothly as possible, with minimal disruption. This is where we build it, we test it, and then we go live. And just like that, the service is live. Welcome to service operation. For a lot of folks in IT, this is the day-to-day reality, right? This is all about managing incidents when things break, handling user requests, and basically just keeping the lights on. It's making sure that service is running smoothly and delivering the value we promised it would. But here's the thing. It doesn't just stop there. The life cycle is actually a loop. The final stage is continual service improvement. And this is so important because it shows that ITIL is never a set it and forget it kind of deal. We are always measuring performance, always looking for ways to make things better, faster, more reliable, and ultimately more valuable to the business. So, okay, we've looked at the big picture, this high-level life cycle, but what does that actually look like in the daily grind? How does it translate to what you do every day? Well, that's where the ITIL practices come into play. Just think of these as the specific tools inside an IT Pro's toolkit. Now, ITIL actually has dozens of these practices, but we're going to zoom in on 5 of the absolute essentials. These are the ones you'll see pretty much every single day: incident management, problem management, change management, service request management, and configuration management. Getting a handle on these is really the key to seeing how ITIL works in the real world. Because, theory is one thing, but let's see how this all plays out when things inevitably go wrong. We're going to use a classic IT nightmare, a full-on company-wide email outage, to show you exactly how these different practices work together to save the day. Okay, picture this. Email is down, the whole company. Immediately, incident management kicks in. Its one and only job: stop the bleeding. Get that service back up and running as fast as possible. Okay, great. But then, a week later, it happens again. Now we trigger problem management. See, its goal isn't the quick fix. It's all about digging deep to find the underlying root cause so this disaster never ever happens again. And they find it, a software bug that needs a patch. But you can't just slap that patch onto a live server, right? That's where change management steps in. It makes sure that patch is properly tested, approved, and deployed in a controlled, safe way so that our fix doesn't accidentally cause 3 brand new problems. See how that works? Each practice has its own mission, but they all work together in perfect harmony. So you can see just how powerful this framework can be for a whole organization. But let's bring it back to you. What does all of this mean for your career? Let's chat a bit about where ITIL is headed and what your next steps could look like. Look, IT never stands still, right? It's always evolving. And ITIL has evolved right along with it. The latest version, ITIL 4, is actually a pretty major shift. It moves away from being this super rigid, process-heavy thing and becomes much more of a flexible model that's all about agility, creating value together, and fitting in with modern practices like DevOps. You could say it's ITIL, but rebuilt for the age of digital transformation. And hey, if you want to make it official and prove you've got these skills, there's a really clear certification path. Pretty much everyone starts with the ITIL 4 foundation. After that, you can specialize. You could go down the managing professional path, which is all about running awesome IT services, or you could become a strategic leader, focusing more on the high-level digital and IT strategy. And the very top, that's the ITIL Master. Getting there shows you have a complete expert-level command of this entire framework, which, let me tell you, gives you a massive career advantage. So if there is just one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. ITIL is not a tool. It's not software. It's a way of thinking. It's a way of working. It is a best practice framework that's designed to help you, your team, and your entire organization deliver absolutely excellent service. So I'm going to leave you with a question to take back with you, maybe to your next team meeting. How can you and your team use these principles to stop being seen as just the IT department and start becoming a critical engine that drives real value for the business? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.